Well, we're still working, folks. I forgot about Rusty Simmons.
It's easy to forget about me.
Yeah, he's the beat writer for the San Francisco Chronicle. Well, I thought we were actually going to tape it afterwards for some reason or another. But now we might as well let our viewers hear live streaming video and enjoy that. Rusty, how long have you been covering the Warriors?
I've been at the Chronicle for 11 years now, and this will be my 6th season doing the Warriors.
When you look at this roster and you look at last year's roster and the success that they had, do you like last year's roster or do you like this year's roster now?
I think I like this year's roster better. Last year's roster had a chemistry that I think is probably tough to match, but just on paper, you got to like this group. And I think it now comes down to the coaching staff and some of the leaders on the roster to build that chemistry up again. Can they develop kind of that cohesive unit that the Jarrett Jackson, Carl Landry's brought to last year's group? But this year's team is definitely more talented than that group.
When you look at this year's team, where do you see the strongest position, the biggest strength that they have? I know they've got several. I'm just curious about your opinion.
Yeah, overall, I would say the wing position. It sounds like, at least in practice so far, that's been the most competitive one. When you think about the fact that they have Klay Thompson and Harrison Barnes and Andre Iguodala, it sounds like Kent Bazemore's a guy who's been really standing out so far in training camp. And I'm not sure there are a lot of teams that could say we've got 4 guys that we feel confident in playing at those positions. It's probably easy to say Stephen Curry or Andrew Bogut are the stars of this team and therefore our strengths. But I think just when you think about the depth that they have at the wing, that's probably their strength right now.
But when you think about Andrew Bogut saying he's 100% healthy, with the ability that he has, his defensive shot blocking, his ability to pass the basketball, with him at 100%, we can only imagine how dominant he could be in that middle, and that's going to help you win a lot of games.
Yeah, it could be really game-changing. We saw in that Denver series at a guy who was at 75% maybe, and how he changed that series. And I think he's such a good fit for this team because he is a rim protector, a real game-changer on defense. And then on offense, he's so unselfish. He likes to get other people's involved, and they have so many good shooters. He's a guy that they can go down and use as an initiator to an offense, a hub, that can draw a double team and kick to those shooters. If he really is 100%, if he's healthy, he could be an absolute dominant player this year.
If this team does stay healthy, by the way, it's a very deep team.
Yeah, they are. And I think that's one thing that Coach Jackson sounds like he's having a lot of fun with. In the past, he's had to convince rookies that they were ready to play, convince them that they were ready to take on roles. The year before that, he had to convince guys who other teams didn't want that they could take on roles. And now he has 9 guys who are experienced, proven guys, and he's going to be able to mix and match. He's not going to be asked to use Stephen Curry for 40 minutes. He's not going to have to use David Lee for 40 minutes. He's got a lot of different things that he can do, a lot of versatility that he can use, and I think he's really excited about it.
Stephen Curry in the playoffs in particular burst on the scene and became a national name. He's been hyped, but well worth it. How do you see his game coming off of last year's success, particularly late in the season and into the playoffs?
Yeah, he's one of those guys that just kind of loves the stage, right? We saw it in Madison Square Garden where he goes for 54 and then Staples and goes for 47, and then in the playoffs maybe took it to another level. This is the first summer where he didn't have to rehab, where he could actually work on his game. He says his handle is better. He says his decision-making is better. He says his shot's better. I'm not sure how that's possible. But if it is, that just talks about what an elite player he could be. We've seen video of him dunking, doing windmill dunks. I don't think of him as an uber-athletic player, but if he adds a little bit more athleticism, a little bit of agility, if he's getting to the rim and finishing the way he did a little bit more his rookie year when he had those crafty moves around the rim, it'll be really interesting to see because people have to respect his jump shot. So if they're giving him some driving lanes, he could be an absolute dominant player in this league.
One thing about Harrison Barnes, who started every game that he played last year, there's a possibility, we don't know, it's conjecture now. If Andre Iguodala starts at the 3 and you put Harrison Barnes coming off the bench, what will be his biggest challenge in coming off the bench in his second season?
You know what will be interesting is I think a lot last year as a rookie, and a little bit because of his personality, he deferred. He deferred to David Lee, he deferred to Stephen Curry. If he's coming off the bench, there's no more deference. He's got to be the man. He's going to be asked to create his own shots. He's going to be asked to take a lot of shots. And we saw that in the playoffs, that they dumped it down to him on the post, and he kind of took control of some games. And so I like him in that role. I like him coming off the bench, but he's going to have to step up to that and be the man in that situation. It's interesting to see a guy in one way take a demotion from starting to coming off the bench, but in another way you're taking on a much bigger role because he does have to be the man, the scoring guy for that second unit.
I know they have a number, and maybe there are different numbers from different players, but about number of wins that they want to get. What's your prediction, and what do you think they're thinking about the locker room?
Yeah, well, the players have said that they want to win more than 50 games, and I think that the Warriors haven't done that since 93, 94, so really high goals. To me, I think while the Warriors have gotten better, a lot of teams in the Western Conference have also. Houston obviously bettered themselves, the Clippers did. I don't think San Antonio's going anywhere, and Oklahoma City's really talented. So if I'm the Warriors, I go into this season and I say, if we can have home court advantage in the first round, if we can be one of those first four teams, we've had a great season. And then you try to better last year. You try to get past the second round of the playoffs. If they do that, if they continue to take one more step toward a championship, which is their ultimate goal, I think they've got to be really proud of the season.
With this kind of roster, these kinds of expectations, is that going to put more pressure on Mark Jackson?
I think so. And I've talked to coaches over the years that kind of want to get away from that pressure, and he hasn't done that. He said, bring it on. We know we're a better team. We've got to rise to the challenge now, and I like that. I like a guy who doesn't shy away from that light. He seems to know that there's pressure on this team, that they're supposed to be good, that the front office went out and got them players this offseason, and it doesn't sound like anybody's shying away from it. They want the pressure. They want the limelight. They're excited about it, and now it's up to them to prove that they deserve it.
Rusty, thank you for spending some time and giving us your thoughts on the upcoming season of the Golden State Warriors. Thank you very much. We'll have you back again.
Sure thing. I appreciate you having me.
That's Rusty Simmons, San Francisco Chronicle. I'm Jim Barnett. This is Warriors.com. See you next time.